Hello everyone, welcome back to Dreambound. RIP, I keep forgetting to record this one. It's literally like my worst habit. There's always one video that I always forget. The little silly ones that come out on Wednesdays, I never forget those. Just because I end up backlogging so many of them that I'm like, nah, I'll just release that. Nah, I'll just release that. So, I swear, I have it this time. I swear, it's fine. So I think we stopped right as Asher walked in. So we came back to the old town, to the hometown or whatever, and we're about to talk to Asher. He swiveled his gaze, sitting on the couch to meet his older brother's gaze. Oh. Sitting on the couch. Good enough. It's fine. And when he did, Noah flinched. Asher was standing in the doorway, his arms crossed. Asher, much like the room he inhabited, looked the same as Noah remembered. Which was to say, his expression was contorted in a look of obvious dislike. And here I was, thinking he wanted to be civil with me. Maybe I really am naive. Asher's gaze was not, however, trained on Noah. He was looking past his younger brother, at the man who sat on the couch beside him. He was staring at Cain. Hey, I'd like to say it's good to see you, but you and I both know that'd be a lie. The circumstances are awful enough as it is. What is he doing here? Hey, how did I do their voices differently? They both had that, like, I don't remember. Hey, he does have a name, you know. Believe me, I am well aware. How could I not know your name when you were more well-liked by our parents than either of us? Of course Noah would bring you along. You can't go anywhere without your little friend, can you? Could have at least told me, jerk. Huh? Cain looked to Noah, blinking bemusedly. You didn't mention that I was coming with you? It must have slipped my mind. This, of course, was a complete fabrication. It hadn't slipped Noah's mind that he'd ought to tell Asher about Cain. How could it? Noah might have had a lot to deal with lately, but he hadn't gone senile. Not just yet, at least. My mind might start to give up on me if I'm jumping through all these dreams. But that's something I can worry about later. For the present, I've got to deal with this. Noah sighed. He hadn't told Asher about Cain because he had known it would cause problems. The pair of them have never liked one another. Cain disliked Asher because he knew how Asher treated Noah, and as for Asher, well, Noah wasn't sure what Asher had against him, but maybe he hated Cain on principle, simply because he was Noah's friend. I'm going to assume it's jealousy. That's what I think. Asher was petty enough to take against people solely because they associated with his younger brother. I think he honestly just has a problem with every single person on this planet. Minus Reuben, I guess. It slipped your mind, huh? Asher didn't look convinced by Noah's excuse, but he didn't press it. Instead, he sighed. Well, it's probably my fault. I forgot that your head's so far up your own ass that, with all your art and stuff, that you wouldn't stop to consider anyone else. And our parents did just die. Look, I forgot. Sorry. But I grew up here just as much as you did. If I want to bring someone with me, I can. I'm trying to plan a funeral and sort through the belongings of our dead parents, Noah. I'd say that calls for letting someone know you're bringing a friend over. Whatever. You being inconsiderate is nothing new. Can you not function by yourself? I can function just fine, thank you. Can you now? Asher snorted. That's news to me. I thought you were still wasting away in that grotty little apartment of yours while Cain babied you. But what do I know? Maybe things have changed. I think I've changed a fair amount since we last saw each other. You're the one who hasn't changed. Do you think? I'll take that as a compliment, considering I've been getting no sleep lately. It's not easy, you know, trying to arrange a funeral for your parents while keeping up with your grades and working part-time jobs. Not that you'd know anything about hard work, of course. You just ran away and spent all your time drawing pictures while Cain handled all the difficult stuff, huh? Asher, Hey! Cain interjected before Noah could retort, his hands balled into fists. How about you try watching your mouth for once? I understand that you should have been told I was coming, but and Noah should have mentioned it, but there's no reason to start giving him crap. You're not the only one whose parents died. Have a little empathy for once in your miserable little life. Well, I know that. I think I'm the only one out of the two of us who gives a damn, though. And what makes you say that, huh? Lots of reasons. The chief one being that Noah didn't try to contact me until a week after he heard they died. I don't know about you, but that doesn't exactly scream dutiful son to me. Since I'm the oldest, I was the one stuck with taking care of everything. And do you know what? Asher pressed on without waiting for a reply, a muscle twitched beneath his neck. I'm getting pretty frickin' sick of doing all the work around here. I've been busting my butt while you've been, who knows, crying into Kane's shirt. Get a frickin' life and live for yourself for once. Or maybe you're too busy forgetting August like that you're using him as a replacement. Keep his name out of your mouth, you piece of crap. Kane and I are just friends. Sure, that's what they all say. Did you even wait until his body was cold to move on? Asher might not have struck Noah, but his words had a heft to them which left Noah feeling dazed, almost breathless. Noah raised his fist, but Kane caught hold of his arm before he could do any damage. He's making some nice low blows, ain't he? Talking about August's death was a low blow, even coming from Asher. Asher had been cruel to Noah while they had been young, and he had been often sadistic. But would he really stoop so low as to use August's death as a gotcha? Asher himself had been the one to give him a lift to the hospital when Noah was so stunned he could no longer formulate words. Speech was an ability which had been lost to him. Instead, he sat there, gawping like a goldfish, while Asher continued on and on and on. I guess that's about as much I can expect from a guy like you, though. You self-centered prick. How about you shut your mouth before I shut it for you? He scowled at his brother, feeling angrier than he had in a long time. For many years after August's death, Noah's emotions had been curiously blunted. He had been able to feel anger, but it hadn't flared up with the same intensity as it had during his teenage years. He simply hadn't had the energy for it. That's called depression, my guy. It was different now, however, with Asher. Noah's anger was white hot, and it seared. His whole body trembled from it. Don't lose your cool, Noah. That would defeat the whole purpose of coming here. I have to try to diffuse the tension somehow. Maybe we can still find common ground? Noah took a deep breath, hoping that this would be enough to steady himself. Then he responded to his older brother's provocations, doing his best to keep his own voice from wavering. I thought you wanted to meet me so we could talk. I am talking to you, and to Loverboy here too. I'm opening my mouth, and words are coming out. Doesn't that count? God, he's always such a smug bastard. I'd almost forgotten. Seeing him in that dream, looking so vulnerable, must have thrown me. He sure isn't acting like he's vulnerable right now, though. Oh, please, don't give me that. You and I both know what you're doing isn't talking. You're just treating me like you always have, like I'm less than dirt for doing something as simple as bringing a friend over. It's not a crime. This house doesn't belong to just you. It is when we have so much to discuss between us, yeah. Then start discussing. All of this arguing is a waste of time. This is a discussion for family. Since when are you and I family? Well, you have a point. Look, I don't have to hang around. I can go find something else to do, and leave you two to talk for a while. I'm not in the freaking mood anymore. I'd rather drink paint thinner than talk to you. I'd rather you drink pink thinner too. Why don't you do us all a favor? It would spare me the headache of having to deal with you. It doesn't matter what I say or do. I'm gonna be made out to be the bad guy as per usual. Well, maybe if you didn't act like the bad guy, you wouldn't be one. Here I was, ready to settle down with you over a drink and have a big, long talk about our parents and our feelings and... But when I said I wanted to talk, I meant I wanted to talk to you, Noah, not you and plus one. I'm not arranging a wedding here, you know? I'm arranging a funeral. I know you're pretty garbage at reading the room, since you've been holed up in your room for years on end, but funerals are supposed to be private family affairs. Not a freaking free-for-all. Roll up, ladies and gentlemen. Watch our parents be lowered into the cold, hard ground. Come for the grieving and stay for the egg sandwiches at the wake afterwards. I have enough going on my plate to deal with. What with trying to get this all arranged without having to babysit one of your friends. Noah had been quiet during his older brother's tirade, not knowing when to jump in, or even more importantly, if he should. Asher's voice had trailed off, however. His recriminations were replaced with heavy breathing. He must have tired himself out, just like a baby throwing a temper tantrum. Let him temper tantrum. Doesn't sound like... I'm not saying, like, he's not a jerk, and he doesn't deserve it, but, he has a lot of fifis, you know? And Asher's supposed to be the older brother. Would it kill him to act a little more mature? That's a lot coming from you. I'm not the one overcomplicating anything. You are. You know that Kane's never been a bother. I mean, hell, even Mom liked him. And she never liked any of my other friends. I don't think she'd have any issues with him showing up to the funeral. He's probably better than either of us at planning these things anyway. Maybe she wouldn't, but that doesn't matter, does it? I don't know if you'd gotten the memo, bro, but she's past caring about anything at the moment. Dang, get caught. No, can't argue with that. She is dead, so. It is giving dead girl. Sorry, I'm trying to friggin'... She's freaking dead. I know she's dead. I watch the news just like you do. I'm not an ignorant child. Oh, right. You watched the news, did you? Asher scoffed. Well, that's all right then. Good on you, Noah, watching the freaking news. I'm glad you're not completely ignorant. But if you think that you know what death looks like from a single news story, then you're dead freaking wrong. I beg your pardon? You might have heard about Mom and Dad's death on the news, but you didn't see them, not like I did. You saw them? I didn't have much of a choice. The poor guy had to go see their bodies at the... Oh. Dang. Yeah, you're right. R.I.P. I'm the poor guy who had to go see their dead bodies at the mortuary to confirm that, yes, it really was them. I had to miss a couple of lectures for that. Really threw me off. Liar, you're missing your lectures already. I heard about it all from Miss Pearson. You said I don't understand the gravity of your situation, but I'm not the one using our parents' death as an excuse for my own bad habits. Seeing Mom and Dad, though, lying like a couple of slabs like that, like meat in the window of a butcher shop. Asher shuddered. Convulsions ran through his body, and for a few moments, Noah almost felt sorry for his older brother. These feelings soon extinguished, however, when a grimace faced Asher rounded on him. That's what death really looks like, Noah. It's rigor mortis and black, lifeless eyes, and people you thought you knew, people who used to hug you and scold you and tuck you into bed at night, being reduced to shells of their former selves. It's much, much more than anything you'd ever see on a TV screen. It's much more visceral. It all felt like some sort of bad joke, that or a nightmare. But it wasn't. It was real. Our parents are dead, and I saw both of them with my own two eyes, while you were busy playing the sad, starving artist. I had to identify their bodies because you never would have bothered. You couldn't give a crap. You've always been so self-obsessed, even after our parents both up and died. I suppose it doesn't matter to you, though. You've only ever cared about August. Asher. Noah stared at his older... Oh, my bad. Wrong time. His nostrils flaring. I've had enough of this. How many times do you want our conversations to go in circles talking about the same crap over and over again? Yes, I should have told you. Yes, it's my bad. No, it doesn't mean that you can bring up every single thing from my past to try and hurt me. I am here if you want to talk. Let's talk. If you don't, fine by me. I have plenty of other things to do in this godforsaken town. Right, more important stuff than your parents' funeral. Are you really that much of a heartless guy? Wink. Yeah, well, I doubt you're doing this out of the goodness of your own heart either. You need money, don't you? You want to wrap this up quickly so you can sell off the house, I bet. You. Okay, I think that's enough arguing. You have nothing to do with this. Kane's voice was remarkably cool, so much so Noah couldn't help but feel in awe of Kane. Yeah, I'm sure. He's a lot more collected than I ever could be. That's a constant, my guy. You've never had any chill in your system. At all. Maybe if I'd kept calm like this when Asher used to bully me, he wouldn't have been so aggressive about it. Maybe, but attacking each other isn't going to help anyone. Alright, Mr. Moral High Ground. Look, I'm only here because I thought that Noah would appreciate the company. That's all. Why do you think you need the company, huh? He has me. Yeah, well, therein lay the root of my concerns. You guys haven't ever been close. There's no use disputing that. I thought if things went south, he might want someone to confide in. I don't intend to get in the way, though. I won't tell you how to prepare your parents' own funeral. Please don't mind me. Don't mind you? Asher echoed Kane's sentiment, his voice sliding up a whole octave in disbelief. Right. Don't mind the near strangers sitting in my parents' house while they lie dead. Not to stir the pot or anything, but as you literally said 2 minutes ago, they're dead. I don't think they'll mind all that much. Thanks for your support, jackass. Man, you must be happy to be the one at Noah's side, huh? We're friends, of course I am. Yeah, sure, friends. Whatever. You must have been happy when August died, huh? Excuse me? I said you must have been happy when that blonde kid died. I mean, now you have Noah all to yourself. I would never be happy about that. He and I were friends. Are you telling me you didn't just wish he'd disappear at least once? Will you leave Kane alone? You're being an insensitive jerk right now. Asher once again directed his glare at Noah, his eyes narrowed at his pale face. At that moment, Asher really was living up to his name. He definitely looked ashen. Funny coming from you. How anyone actually wants to be friends with you, I don't think I'll ever understand. You've always been a moody little shit. And it only got worse through the years, I see. But nobody seems to care. The feelings are mutual. Oh wait, do you even have any friends left? Noah felt something almost snap inside. Asher's constant beration was beginning to wear on him. I have plenty more friends than you do. His voice was defensive and surprised, as if he didn't expect Noah to say anything in return. Yeah, even his face looked surprised. Kane's like, oh my god. I seriously doubt that. The only person who could ever put up with you was Reuben. So where is he? Don't talk about him. Oh, you're allowed to shit talk August, but I can't even mention Reuben? Sounds a little unfair to me. Unfair? What's unfair is that you took away the one good thing I had in this life. The one person I cared about. You did that all by yourself. You're looking for someone to blame, but you chased him away with your own actions. I know because you told me. God, you're way more honest in your dreams. So what if I was a little mean to you? You needed it. Like I needed a knife in my back. If Reuben threw you aside like a used tissue, then you deserved it. Fine, I'm a total piece of crap who doesn't deserve anyone. Glad you realized. But to be honest, I don't even think that's true. I can't stand you. The energy behind his voice was almost gone. All that remained was a quiet, tired hate. I know. It's not like he ever tried to hide it. I'm like, why is it so quiet? Hello? Every time I put on these headsets, I start getting confused. Yo, I put this on backwards. Hold on. Oh yeah, that helped. I don't know why that happens sometimes. Sometimes I'm just like, right. Maybe I think I'm also just a little further away from the mic than I usually am. Because I'm just trying new stuff. Because I could have good posture while I record, but I don't really care. So I'm kind of like shrimping right now. I'm a little shrimp. You're not telling me anything I wasn't already aware of. I was hoping you might be able to tell me something new, which is why I agreed to see you. But if you can't talk to me in a civil manner, I don't really see the point. We're just hashing out the same tired arguments we always have. Why did you even invite me here if you just wanted to attack me again? You could have just done that over the phone and spared me the journey. Oh, please, don't act so hard done by. What does that mean? Never heard of that. You wouldn't know real hardship if it smacked you across the face. Sometimes I'd rather you smack me across the face and argue like this. Well, if you insist, just try it, Asher, and see what happens. So the little guard dog has its fangs after all. Was that supposed to be a threat? Do you want to find out? Kane cracked his knuckles menacingly. Kane? Hi. What? Who said that? Someone's going crazy right now. That's crazy. Who said that? I'm really quiet for some reason. I don't think I'm quiet. No, I'm not. Whatever. He didn't take a step forward, but the promise of pain was enough to make Asher take an uneasy step back. Asher might have been tall himself, but he wasn't as tall as Kane, and neither was he as muscular. If a fight did erupt between them, it was obvious who would win. Asher didn't stand a chance. Asher, that's enough. You're just being pathetic. You think? Asher snorted. If one of us is pathetic, I'd say it's you. You barely even know the best friend at your side. Hilarious coming from you. You didn't only push Reuben away, but Daisy too, right? How do you know about Daisy? Wouldn't you like to know? She had some choice words about you. She liked you a lot, and you only had eyes for Reuben, I heard. I don't think you're in the boat to be complaining about your best friends caring too much about each other. Shut up, you wouldn't understand. I think I understand perfectly. Maybe Reuben would forgive you if, I don't know, you tried to make a change. Here comes the backup again. You always had backup. Mom was always on your side when we were kids. How many times do I have to tell you that's not true? She always compared me to you. I always complained I wasn't you. Always hyped up every single one of your stupid actions while looking down her nose at me. I don't believe you. Why not? Because she did the exact same thing to me. Oh, Asher, Noah scored so well on his tests. And Asher, why can't you be as creative as Noah? I'm sick of it. Asher, why don't you drive your brother off? He ran away. Why did you? He ran away because of you. But now I never have to hear it again, I suppose. I didn't realize she was playing both of us. Well, that is if you're not lying. I'm not. Don't you think it'd be a little late to bother lying about this when our parents are both dead? She always was crazy. That's an understatement. But the two stood across from each other, hostile. Just a tiny bit of tension eased up for the moment as the two brothers found solace in each other's suffering. Look, I'm not happy that you brought company when I wanted a chance to sit down and work all this out with you. But I should have expected it. We can still talk about it. Nah. I'm not feeling it today, and I don't have the desire to hang out here with the two of you and your unsolved feelings. He turned, heading back towards the entryway. Asher, hey, wait, what are you doing? Where are you going? I don't know. I don't care. Enjoy the place while we still have it. Oh, for fuck's sake. Noah exhaled through his nostrils, begging the universe as he did for inner peace. The universe, of course, did not answer. It never did. Well, so much for that. You can't just go. We only just got here. We've barely had a chance to discuss anything. I think we've discussed plenty. I don't have anything else to say to you. We can work on the funeral and stuff later. I'm too tired. Asher's fingers wound tightly at the handle of the front door. Sharply, he pulled it down. The lock clicked, and then Asher stepped outside. Sorry, I'm dying. If it was late, the sky beyond the house was dark. The front garden swarmed with shadows which soon swallowed Asher whole. Dang, go crazy. Noah wondered where Asher would spend the night. Did he have a plan? Maybe he would stay in a hotel, provided he had money for it. It didn't seem to matter too much, though, what Asher did. He just wanted to escape. Well, I can't exactly blame him for that. The atmosphere in here is pretty tense. It's not my fault, though. I'm not the one who started this. Yeah, but you certainly finished it, didn't you? Takes two people to fight. That's all I gotta say. No, but you could have been like, fair, I'm sorry. I needed emotional support for this because I know we don't get along. Yeah. Well, honestly, you just should have told him, period. I never started any of this. Well, you brought that guy with, and that wasn't really... Asher's always had it out for me. At least I almost understand why now. It would be like my mother set us against each other. Well, she did, apparently. The front door slammed shut behind Asher with a thud. Then there was nothing. Nothing except deep, dark silence. Noah didn't know, in Asher's absence, what to do. He didn't know what to say. He felt hollow and empty, like a crab whose meat had been scooped out. There was one thing, however, he was certain of. So, Asher hates me. Nothing new there. So why does it feel so bad this time around? Noah looked at his feet, his brow furrowed. Then, feeling more than a little lost, he mumbled, "Well, that could have gone better." "You're telling me." Kane snorted. The guy was being a grade A jerk, as per usual. Actually, I think he might have been behaving a little like an even bigger jerk than usual. Maybe it's the funeral preparations. It must be taking a lot out of him. It sounds stressful. Bro, my cat better not be knocking. She's going crazy right now. I'm sure it is. He still didn't need to say all that stuff to you, though. It's not your fault your parents died. I know. I'm sure Asher knows that, too. I guess he just wasn't thinking very logically. No kidding. Kane scoffed. So much for being an honor student, huh? He really let himself slide. I guess. Noah frowned. Being told by his older brother in no certain terms that he was hated was painful. But this wasn't really the only remark that Asher found Noah... Wait, what? Hello? This wasn't the only remark of Asher's that Noah found himself dwelling on. Oh, I'm sure. It's hard to believe since my mother always used to compare me to Asher, but I really can't imagine him being jealous of me. He always had everything. He always seemed like he had everything. This wasn't a possibility Noah had even considered before. Oh, I thought we were going to focus on us being in love or whatever, but sure, let's focus on all the drama. Why would Asher, after all, be envious of him? What did Noah have that he didn't? Noah couldn't wrap his head around it. I wonder what he could have had that he doesn't have. I wonder what it could possibly be. I wonder what it could possibly be that Noah does have that he doesn't have. But it was obvious now that Asher thought there was something to envy in his younger brother. I mean, more than just Cain, but he obviously also hates that he has Cain. This petty, caustic envy had been welling up inside Asher, unchecked for years and years. It was only now, after their parents' death, that it had become bubbling to the surface. Asher had said things, a lot of things, which couldn't be taken back. The next time Noah talked to his older brother, it would have been with the knowledge he had gleaned from the conversation that Asher couldn't stand him. How were they ever supposed to reconcile things now? Noah had hoped in seeing Asher again, they might be able to bury the hatchet. It seems like he wants to. He needs to go to therapy. It seems like Asher's not opposed to making up. It just seems like he doesn't know where to begin, and he has a lot of fifis he needs to sort through. Ooh. Ugh. This, however, was wishful thinking. Cain was right. I shouldn't have expected anything. I told myself I wasn't expecting anything, but clearly I let myself get carried away. I got my hopes up. What a stupid thing to do around Asher, of all people. Why did I think he would ever change? Noah sighed. If I dropped down dead tomorrow, I don't think Asher would care at all. In fact, I think he'd be glad to be rid of me. I always knew he hated me, but I never knew he hated me this much. The rest of the night after Asher's sudden departure could only be described as awkward. In his absence, Asher seemed to have taken all the air with him, leaving Noah breathless. He felt tense and on edge, every bit as panicked as a small, vulnerable animal. Every time he heard a car passing by outdoors, he wondered whether it might be Asher, come to apologize for the way he had treated him. But of course it never was Asher, and even if it had been, Noah knew his older brother would never apologize to him. Asher didn't really do apologies. I bet he didn't even apologize to Reuben after he upset him so much. It's obvious that Asher's still really hung up about it, but he won't talk to him. He won't even try to make amends. I'm not sure if he's stubborn or just plain awkward. Maybe a bit of both? Huh. When I think about it like that, maybe I'm not so dissimilar to Asher after all. Cain, noticing Noah's melancholy mood, tried to cheer him up as best he could. Let's go, King. He whipped up a pasta dish for dinner with whatever ingredients he could scrounge in the kitchen. There wasn't much to work with, and then he served it. The food was good, Noah supposed, but his stomach was tied into knots, and it was difficult to appreciate it. He spent much of mealtime pushing his food around his plate, something which made Cain frown. If we're going to do any investigating tomorrow, you need to get some food in you. You're skinny as anything. I know, I'm just not hungry. Cain's eyes penetrated Noah's from across the tabletop, and Noah nodded. I thought you'd say that. That was my mother's favorite comeback, too, when we were waiting for Dad to come back home. She cooked all of these fancy meals, but she hardly ever ate any of them. She just pecked at them like a bird. The whole thing was pretty distressing, I suppose is the word. Oh, Noah frowned. He knew all about Cain's parents' divorce, but Cain hadn't mentioned it in years, and Noah subsequently hadn't thought of it. Maybe he believed that because Cain wasn't talking about it, Cain no longer cared about it. Well, of course he cares. Dang. Bro is crazy right now. This is his own family we're talking about here. Sorry, it's alright. You didn't do anything wrong. Not when it comes to my parents, at least. Dang. You are doing something wrong now, though. I am? You're not eating. I didn't slave over a hot stove for nothing, you know. I know, Bro is crazy. Hold on. I know, I appreciate it, but Noah nudged his spaghetti with his fork. It was covered in a viscous red sauce, one which looked far too vivid. It was alarmingly red, just like a bloodied knee. That's crazy. I know he's an ass, but I shouldn't care, but I do. Asher won't be happy about Ashy goes crazy. How about you eating? Cain tutted. I know you and your brother don't get along too well, but not even he would get mad at you for consuming food, hopefully. It's a basic human right, unless he wants you to starve to death. I don't know what Asher wants. Maybe he'd be happy if I died, though. It'd be one less thing for him to trouble himself with. But no, I meant Asher's the one who bought all this food. He'll be pissed when he sees we've been going through the cupboards. He'll be fine. It's spaghetti. Well, that's his problem. He's the one who invited you here. I think he'd like to uninvite me now, though. Probably, but it's not your fault if your brother wants to be a dick. I know it's easier said than done, but don't let it get to you. I'll try not to. Noah did try too, but trying not to worry about Asher felt impossible. I always knew he didn't like me, but I didn't know he hated me that much. It stings. Noah didn't finish his dinner, but he did eat as much of it as he could muster. Not wanting to throw the leftovers away, Cain unearthed a plastic container from one of the cupboards and scraped the food into it. He sealed it and stashed it in the back of the fridge. Then he and Noah began to wash and dry the dishes. It was mindless work that Noah appreciated at the moment. Just to do something with his hands and not think for a minute was the break his brain needed. When he was done, he looked around the kitchen and then the living room. Nothing looked different. In fact, he was surprised at how everything seemed to be exactly the same as when he left. For some reason, he expected everything to have changed. For all the furniture to be new or rearranged at least, but no. All these years, while Noah was stuck in the past, it seemed like this house was too. Noah might have been raised here, but it had been years since he had been back. He felt like an outsider. It would have been hard to relax regardless, but his argument with Asher still gnawed at him. We should go to sleep soon, Noah. It's pretty late, and well, I feel like tomorrow is going to be a busy day. Oh, right. Noah glanced at his phone and then nodded. It was past 11 p.m. How had it gotten so late? Well, there's a few bedrooms around, but I can just take the couch. It feels like a waste when there's so many beds. Eating his food is one thing, but sleeping in Asher's bed would feel like too far a step. And I'd really rather not sleep where your parents used to, even if their bed would be more comfortable than the couch. It'd feel kind of wrong. Noah understood these arguments, and he didn't press Cain, even if he was worried about Cain's back. It couldn't have been good for him doing all that driving, only to spend the night in uncomfortable conditions. Maybe it would have been better if we stayed in a hotel instead, but it's too late to worry about that now. Noah did wonder briefly whether he shouldn't have invited Cain to share his bed. Should have? Whether he shouldn't invite Cain to share his bed, but decided against it. That would have seemed too intimate. Girl, that's cray. Literally invite that man onto that bed or I'm gonna get you. We might have shared a bed when we were teenagers, but that was a long time ago. It was a different time back then. We were different. I'm scared. Of what, Asher? He won't do anything to you while I'm here. Not of Asher, of all this. He motioned around to the room, to everything. I'm scared to even go back to my room. Well, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. I can come with you if you want to take a look at what they changed. Oh, right. All my old furniture's probably gone. Cain brought me some of my old stuff a while after I ran away, but I still left a lot here. I guess Mom would have gotten rid of it all as soon as possible. Thanks, I'd appreciate that, actually. Side by side, the pair walked towards Noah's bedroom, like no time had passed at all. Noah's footfalls were heavy, and his body felt like lead. He hadn't done much other than sit in Cain's car, but he felt exhausted. Well, this looks the same. His room, like the rest of the house, hadn't changed at all since he'd been away. It looked like it had been preserved, in fact, in pristine condition, almost as though his parents had been waiting for him to return. Even the bed was freshly made. Other people's parents might have turned their children's old bedrooms into storage rooms once they moved out, but not his. That's strangely sentimental. I thought my mother couldn't wait to get rid of me. Maybe she cared more than I thought. Wow, it hasn't changed a bit. There's not even a hint of dust. Cain walked ahead of Noah, his eyes pausing over various items that Noah had left behind. There wasn't a lot in here, but there wasn't a lot that Noah had owned as a teenager anyway. His television still sat looking impressive as always. Noah had wanted to take it back home with him, but it was much larger than the old box he'd found on the side of the road he used at home. Various manga and novels he's enjoyed growing up sat next to the old computer. He ran his finger over the top of it and was surprised again to find no dust. Why would she bother keeping it clean? Well, maybe she was hoping you'd come home. I doubt it. I was nothing but a disappointment to her. I'm trying not to excuse any of her insane actions, but, well, I would be surprised if she didn't still love you. Noah hadn't wanted to think about that. The fact that even through the things that she'd put him through, she'd always treated him like the way she treated him, she might still love him dearly. This was what I said earlier. Love isn't always enough sometimes. She was terrible to both of her children. Whether she loved them or not, it's not enough. It was not enough. Period. Thinking of what would only complicate how he felt about his parents passing. If she loved me, I don't understand how she could have made me so miserable. Maybe. How could you hurt someone you love so much, though? Cain went quiet at Noah's question. Noah hadn't really expected an answer. He mostly wanted to vocalize his thoughts to the universe. A lot of people hurt the ones they love without even trying. Not that I want to justify her actions, I wouldn't dare, but, well, it's interesting that everything's so perfectly preserved. Yeah. Noah opened the drawer of his desk, looking through the various items stuffed in here. Old pens, erasers, half-written notes. He almost smiled looking at them. There was something nostalgic about discovering things that were inherently common and boring here. These were items he would use every day. He never appreciated these things. Moving them aside, he found something else, a card of some kind. But Cain's voice interrupted him from across the room. Wow, would you look at that? Proof that we actually knew each other growing up. I thought I'd never see these photos again. Noah picked up the card and put it down on his bed for the moment and joined Cain. He smiled at the small photo album that predated their high school years. Kane flicked through the pages, smiling as he revisited years' worth of memories. The far majority of the pictures showed a much younger Noah and Kane side by side. In one, Kane wrapped his arm around Noah's shoulder and grinned wildly at the camera, while Noah looked absolutely embarrassed to be there. In another, the two sat on the swings, competing to see who could go higher. In a third, Noah's mother had taken a photo of the two having a sleepover. Noah clung tightly to Kane as they both slept with their mouths open, snoring slightly. How embarrassing. I thought it was cute. Look, even back then you depended on me. Ugh, it's been so long. Do you remember when we first met? How could I not? I thought you were a flashy show-off and I hated you. Well, I thought you were a boring introvert. Noah cracked a smile. I think we're both pretty accurate. Maybe one of us more than the other. Yeah, me. You wish. The two boys smiled, and it felt like almost no time had passed at all. That these two smiling boys looking back at them still existed. Jesus help. I walked away for 2 seconds and I got out of my zone, and now I can't read. It's over. Close video. We're done. Kane's eyes traveled to the bed where the card Noah had left still sat. Oh, sorry. Forgot that goes backwards. You kept that? Noah picked it back up. What's it? On the front was a giant red heart, cut out badly. Honestly, for a moment, Noah thought it looked like rather than cut out, the creator had chewed the heart out. Dang, go crazy. He opened it up and laughed at the message within. It was a Valentine's Day card Kane had given him when they were no more than 14 as a joke. Sure, as a joke, right. Happy Valentine's Day, Noah. I knew no one would give you a card. So like the saint I am, I decided to make you one. No need to thank me. I forgot I ever gave this to you. Wow. You've always been such a jerk. But a likable one. Yeah, well, that too, I guess. You were right, No one else gave me a card or anything. Kane beamed. Lucky you had me to be your Valentine, huh? Yeah. Noah could feel his cheeks heating up slightly. The room suddenly felt very small and very humid. He walked over to the window and slid it open. A cool breeze from the outside ruffled his hair as he faced away from Kane. It was a joke card. There was no need to get all flustered like this 10 years later. Noah cast his gaze out of the large window, which looked at the house opposite. August had once lived in that house, alongside his father, Jasper. Yo, let's go name drop. But Jasper had left, and August was not coming back. A brand new family was probably living in that house now, a new kid that walked up and down the mountain every day to go to school. It had been 5 years or so since he'd come back here. A lot had probably changed. Have I changed? Noah wasn't sure about that. I might look different, but when I think about August, it still hurts. Noah stared out the window for a few moments. He willed the occupant of the room opposite to either draw back their curtains so he could see into the room, see just how much August's old bedroom had changed. But the seconds trickled by, and the curtains in the house opposite remained stubbornly closed, as if I'll be able to wrench them open through sheer willpower alone. What's wrong with me? The sudden urge to see exactly what had happened to August's room was overwhelming, but Noah swallowed it. There was no point clinging to the past, even if that was the main reason he'd returned to his hometown in the first place. He heard footsteps coming up behind him. August's house, huh? Not anymore. You've gotten better at talking about him lately. Have I? You'd get furious before, if anyone even said his name or mentioned his passing. I suppose I've come to accept it a little, this world without him. Noah sat down, and a moment later, Kane sat down next to him. Yes, this is what I was aiming for, boys. This is what I was gunning for. I needed him to start grieving so he could get over it. That's what I needed. Thank you. Thanks. Oh, shut up. This is cute. I know it's hard. Loss is so impossibly hard. Noah found himself leaning towards Cain without even noticing what he was doing. It was a natural thing to depend on Cain. He was always there. He would never leave him or betray him. He was like a stone wall that couldn't be withered. Dude, what if I end up killing him? I'm gonna kill him. No! Anyways, he was an unmoving force, a great mountain rooted so firmly in reality that no wave, no quake could budge him. Dude, I'm gonna end up getting him murdered. That's how Noah pictured Cain. A perfectly solid, firm person that you could lean on no matter how hard things got. Noah hadn't wanted to lean on him in years. He didn't even want to see Cain. But why not? They were friends. The best of friends. They knew each other long, long before August came into the picture. Why was it so hard to look at him? Was it guilt? Could it be fear being left alone by him too? No, I wasn't sure. Do you remember that time I turned up here in the middle of the night? Of course I do. It was raining so hard, you were drenched. I'm sorry about that, Turning up like that and then disappearing. I was really worried about you back then. I guess that's how you usually feel about me, huh? You do make me worry. A lot. Sorry. Yeah, well, I'm the mom friend for a reason. The way he said mom friend almost sounded sad. Almost bitter. But that had to be Noah's imagination, right? After all, Cain would be the first one to let anyone and everyone know how much of a mom friend he was. Does it ever get hard? You're gonna have to be a little more specific there. To have everyone rely on you, but no one to rely on yourself? Where's this coming from? Just thinking about it. You're the most dependable person I know, so it has to be hard, being that dependable. I just like taking care of people. You know that. But don't you ever need taking care of? Cain fell silent. He leaned back slightly, a heavy sigh escaping his lips. His eyes were trained on the sky outside, and Noah felt himself watching his eyelashes and the curve of his lips as he spoke. I know we're talking about something really dark and traumatic, but guys, he sees him. He sees him. I love that for me. Well, I'm fine, Noah. There's nothing you have to worry about. Cain, when I freaking get you, Cain, it's gonna be so over. I'm gonna get you. There's gonna be live footage of me getting you. There's gonna be live footage on every doorstep, me getting you. I'm calm, I swear. That's not an answer. No, I guess it's not. It can be hard. Sometimes I try too hard, and I make things worse. Seeing the disappointment in their eyes, knowing they relied on me and I screwed up. Like with my mom. Noah frowned. Your mother was never disappointed in you. She blamed me for her divorce. I've never seen her so... angry isn't the word. More like lost. She wasn't herself then, but she still said words to me I'll never forget. And then there's you. A long time ago you promised me you weren't going anywhere, and then you left just like that. Even when I chased after you, you spent years pushing me away. All I could do was wonder if I was doing the right thing. I'm sorry isn't enough, is it? But what else can I say? It's fine. Like I said to you, I'm fine. I'm the same flashy show-off I've always been. Noah didn't miss the strain in his voice and the thickness in his words. Even Cain, even he had the capability to lie. Yeah, no shit. That was something Noah knew, of course, but he hadn't expected. You can tell me when you're struggling. I'm not very good at looking after people. I'm a bit of a mess, but I can still listen, even if I can't help. You know I can't do that. I'm your guardian angel, after all. How disappointing would it be if I needed you to rescue me? This is a very interesting dynamic that's low-key not good. It could be. It has the potential to be a really good relationship. It's just currently not, because he thinks he has to be perfect. And he doesn't. His words were in jest, but Cain seemed drained of energy. He was probably too tired to act as the ever-cheerful support beam that he'd always did. Noah frowned to himself. I'm being serious right now. I know I'm not dependable like you. I know I'm a piece of crap that's been pushing you away for so many years. But I want to be there for you too. So please. Well, I'll try. Is being back here making you nostalgic or something? You're awfully, well, caring tonight. Noah's teeth ground against each other slightly. I've had a lot of time to think lately, which is funny because my world has suddenly got so busy. You would think with all these years I spent by myself in my apartment, it would have given me time to think, but no. You were there for me as a child, and you were there for me as an adult, so the least I can do for you now is pay back the favor. To his surprise, Kane laughed lightly. You don't owe me any favors. I've never done anything to you with that in mind. That might be even worse. Anyway, it means a lot that you care like this. We really should be getting some sleep, though, before things get too sappy between us, huh? Yeah, you've probably got a point. Don't stay up too late, okay? Yeah. Good night, Noah. He smiled back softly. Good night. Boo. I'm depressed. I swear to God, if you don't tell this man to sleep in this bed with you, Noah, I'm gonna jump into this game and I'm gonna get you myself. Whatever sleep demon's killing all the people, you know, they're gonna have to come after me because I'm about to get you. Kane got up first and Noah turned his shoulder to look at the brunette. Kane closed the bedroom door behind him, leaving Noah alone in his room. He sighed heavily to himself. The past was a difficult thing, though he found himself thinking about it, reliving it. Talking about it was the first one. It was still hard to accept that tomorrow he wouldn't wake up, meet up with his two best friends in the entire world, and walk down the mountain again to school. Noah stared back at the window in the house next to his. Those dark curtains obscured everything beyond. What was happening in there right now? And what in the world? And what about that world 10 years from now, or 30? No matter how many times he tried to picture it, he couldn't. This place, it was so ingrained in Noah, in the Noah of yesterday, that he couldn't imagine it any other way. Will anyone remember me tomorrow? His voice echoed lightly in the night air. Memories and dreams are similar, like that, fleeting. Good things and bad. They all fade away as we grow and change and move on. The thought should have been comforting, but instead, Noah felt a lump growing in his throat. The memories and the moments, they slipped through his fingers like water. His life ebbed away, one day after the other. Time didn't stop for anybody. His life was slipping into a new life, while the old one was swept away like dust on the wind. And that felt terrible. Sorry, I got... Standing, he closed the window and fell back onto his bed, staring at the ceiling. That familiar flat, white ceiling. I wonder if my mom missed me. His eyelids felt awfully heavy all of a sudden. Darkness enveloped him. Sleep took over him. We're crazy. Breakfast the following morning was awkward and uncomfortable affair. Kane's father... Oh, we're in the past. Okay, great. Kane's father was, as per usual, absent, having already left for work. Okay, well, since we're going to the past, let's get a good save in here. Where's it at? Okay, let's get a good save in there. Because, obvi, girly pop, I'm loading really hard. Anyways, just because I don't want to get started into something completely new and then we get kind of stuck in it. So, that was a lot and not a lot all at once. Like, dude, they had, like, a fight and then, like, that was, like, an evening. I was sitting there while the dialogue was going and I was like, this is really long. This is a really long, roundabout way of, like, talking about something that's such a short period of time, and that's cray. And, Asher sucks. Peace and love. I don't think that he has any excuses for behaving the way he does. I understand his behavior and where it's coming from and why it's like that. Hold on. I think I'm hearing demons. Anyways. But I understand that, like, he went through stuff. but it's not an excuse for his poor behavior. Noah's barely any better. I've said this whole time that he is someone who's... I understand, like, you are totally valid to grieve and feel upset about losing someone important to you. Eventually, you have to move on with your life. Period, point blank. Eventually, you have to move on. You can still feel sad. You can still mourn. You can still feel fifis about your, like, about what's happening. But locking yourself in a room and not talking to anyone for years and then, I don't know, like, dogging on the people who are taking care of you is crazy. I'm glad he's finally, like, seeing Kane, though. I'm also glad they're not taking these moments to be romantic moments, because they would be highly, like, not slay. Ugh, it'd be so... That's what I was, like, thinking before. I was like, thank God they're not doing, like... They're getting them in a way where, like, you can see their, like, relationship growing and shaping into, like, something more intimate without being intimate, which is slay. That's it for me, or whatever. So next time we'll go into, I guess, more of Kane's lore, which we all know. We all know I love Kane lore. But I hope you're having so much fun, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.